stuck in no man's land?
Are you stuck in no man's land? That's a question we often ask ourselves.
Yeah, limbo, I think. It's got something to do with that.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be talking about in Get Real with
the English Sisters.
Join us.
Join us. If you like this podcast, please share and give us your feedback. We'd love to hear from you on YouTube or on Instagram, wherever you prefer. So, right, yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, no man's land. Have you ever felt like that? I think.
What do you mean exactly? Like no
Well,
man's land?
As if you're stuck. You don't know what's going on. Like there's no future. You feel as if you can't walk forwards. You can't see a clear plan.
Is that what no man's land actually means?
Well, I think it would mean that.
A land of no one,
nowhere.
Man, no person.
It's like a nowhere. It's like you're in limbo.
I mean, now it is becoming increasingly popular, isn't it, in the metaverse to possess these different lands and to escape into those kind of lands.
Virtual lands.
Yeah, the virtual lands.
You can actually buy property now.
You can, yeah, like tree land or something I was reading about. Yeah, you can buy homes, and
the concept does seem foreign to us because we didn't grow up with that.
We didn't, but I mean, is that still no man's land?
No.
No.
I think that's a different thing.
That's a different
thing. I think we're just talking about how you feel when you feel as if you're in no man's land. So like maybe say if we can imagine, since we were talking about imagination, that we had a client, for instance, that in her 30s,
okay,
and wants to have a family, ideally,
okay,
but she still hasn't got a partner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she doesn't like her job,
and so she spends a lot of time online in the metaverse.
No,
she's
just stuck.
Oh, she's just stuck. Okay. Okay, don't focus on that. You say no.
The metaverse is finished with.
Okay. Oh, that was quick. Because we were discussing it before we started the podcast, like there with a cup of tea. We were discussing
this is about mental health and how you feel if you're like stuck in a land that doesn't belong to you. Like, do you remember when we were little? Well, you feel as if it doesn't belong to you. Do you remember when we were younger?
Yeah.
And we had kids. We used to say we were like in babyland, and that everyone around us was in babyland because all you talk about was babies and having babies.
Yeah, and the nappies.
And do you remember
and all that
we used
palaver.
to feel sorry for our friend that didn't have any children, and that she was single, and she was the same age as us, and she wanted kids. She told us.
She did,
but she didn't have like.
She wasn't at
the right stage in her life, but
exactly.
she said she felt stuck. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. And she did start to get quite depressed, and then in the end she realized it. There came to a point when she realized that she was stuck, and she said, "Look, sorry, I'm going to have to stop hanging out with you."
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because you've all got husbands and you've got children.
Yeah, you're like all in the nesting phase.
Yeah, you're not interested in what I have to say, or your conversation just becomes boring because it has nothing to do with
boring.
her.
Even for me, I mean, even with the kids, I found it boring.
Yeah,
because it's all right just to talk about them for a little bit, but then afterwards you need some
when you start hearing about nappies and how many times they went to the toilet and things like
really,
that, it's really annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying. I mean, you can only say that, I think, between you and your partner, you know, the person.
Close family members.
Yeah, you say, I mean, even then.
It's not really topic for conversation.
Come on, it's not that. Unless.
But the dinner table, unless it comes up. And then
Dinner table.
It always did come up, didn't it?
God, it's so boring. Yeah, it did come up, actually. I'm remembering
Some people might find it really interesting, though.
Well,
when you're in that phase
stage,
of your life.
yeah. It's like trying to get your baby to sleep and that. Yeah. If you're doing that sleep training or whatever used to be trendy at our times when we had our kids. I can't remember, you were supposed to leave them.
Because it was good to talk. It is good to talk about it. But I think it's okay if you're in that kind of state of mind, if you're in that land,
Yeah,
as I call
in
it,
the land, yeah.
in the baby land, then that's fine. You want to be kind of doing those kind of
Sometimes
things.
you want to get out of the baby land, though. Do you
Well,
remember
do.
we used to
then
say
you'd be
it?
stuck in it, and that's when
Yeah.
I said you'd be stuck in the
Yeah.
land, and then that's when we decided to do different things.
So this hypothetical person is stuck in her singles land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The only way to become unstuck is to do a different thing, because if you're going to follow the same pattern you followed before, you're going to get exactly the same results. So this hypothetical person would have to do different things in order to get a different result.
Well, let's call her Jane.
Okay, Jane Doe. Okay, yeah. Well, Jane, yes. Dear Jane. Dear Jane. I feel like saying Jane there. Okay, yeah. Why do I have to do all the thinking?
I'm saying, dear Jane, what would we suggest for her if you're stuck?
Well, I would suggest a change.
Exactly.
Change, even though Jane may not like change because change causes uncertainty, but it will also bring about new and different things in her life. So I would suggest learn something new to Jane, for example. Which she might think, I don't want to learn anything new. No, go and learn something new. Learn Mandarin, learn Spanish, learn a new language.
It's easy to say no to things, isn't it? Especially when you're stuck. I think that's the tricky thing that's the harsh truth.
It's because you're already feeling a bit down.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's easy to say, oh, no, I haven't got the energy for that. I'm too tired. I hate my job. It's boring and it's exhausting.
I'm not meeting any new people, especially if she wanted a family, Jane. She wants a family. So, yeah, and that is tricky. I do understand her point of view, where she's coming from.
And she feels as if time is running out all the time.
Yeah, because she's like in this rut. It's like the boiling frog, isn't it? Where she can't.
You're in the pot.
You're in the pot, aren't you? And the pot is boiling, and you're just in there. You've got used to that.
We're used to it, but she's not happy. So there's signs of hope for her because she's not happy.
The fact that she's not happy is a good sign. Yeah. So I think if you're feeling that way and you're not feeling happy, take note of the not feeling happy part and think of that as a really good sign. Even though you might think, oh, it's horrible not feeling happy. But yes, it's a feeling. And if you acknowledge it.
Really annoyed about it.
You could be annoyed, but you're acknowledging it. So that means that you will, you will want to make a change, I think, because you're not feeling happy.
Do you remember we wrote that quote, "A great frustrations lead to great creations"?
Yeah.
So I think if you're frustrated and you're finding that you're stuck in a land that doesn't belong to you, you don't feel as if it belongs to you, move over to a singles land. I mean, so maybe she could join a dating app.
Oh, right. I thought she was already in the singles land. No. She all her friends have become, they've paired off and they're in the nesting phase, and she's still, yeah, that's typical. Yeah, maybe she could join something.
She could join a dating app, and then she could join some groups.
That's what I was
saying.
She
could maybe think about changing location.
Even
because she
the
might
real
be,
land,
she might be like physical.
She
might be
change.
in a part of the country that's like very rural, or it's not. There's not a lot of people. There's not a lot going on for her age group, and it's.
I don't know why you think this is so funny.
I'm looking at your face.
No, because I totally agree. Yes, change. That's what I said before.
Take a ferry, take a boat, take a plane.
If she's going to stay in the same place and she's going to be doing the same things, unless she has this stroke of luck when she's going to work and she bumps in, like in the fairy tale films, into the love of her life.
Happens to be travelling from somewhere.
Happens to be travelling from somewhere. It's unlikely she's going to meet that person if she's looking for somebody that's going to make her have a change in her life that she so long desires.
I know, but it's so easy to say, but it's so hard to
do. I know. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying the uncomfortable, niggly, frustrating feeling that Jane Doe is feeling today, unsatisfied.
I wish you would give her a proper surname, not Jane.
Well, that's what, in all these medical things, when you watch it's the
medical program.
What surname do you want to give her then?
I don't know, Jane.
Jane what?
Jane Bruno.
Jane Bruno. Oh my God. What is she? Half Italian?
Might be.
Okay. Well, so Jane Bruno.
Jane Brunelli.
That really is Italian. Okay. So we just call her Jane.
Yes.
Jane is, you've made me forget where she is now and what she's doing.
I would think that for Jane, it's difficult to change because you don't want to change, but she's already acknowledged that she's not happy and she feels stuck.
That's number one.
So
Very
you're
important.
acknowledging your situation is really important. Then to maybe reinvent herself. So but obviously before doing anything rash, there's always, there's other factors. You have to look at the ecology of a situation. So there's like maybe economical things, but it's amazing how when you set your mind to doing something new, how things, it's a bit like what they say about manifesting.
Yeah.
How once you set your mind, you take the first steps, then things just suddenly appear. Like
They
so she
do.
might just be suddenly reading the paper and she sees, or reading online and she'll see like an advert for a flat, say in London or somewhere else, saying they need a co-person to come and live there.
Somebody to walk
There
the
might
dogs,
be
and then you might
there might
need
be a
someone.
home sitting job. There might be something that she can go and move location.
Yes. I mean, in the films, these happen. These things do happen, but the reality is that films do they're inspired upon many times of what happens in reality.
But do you remember what Mum said, that what happens in the films is real?
Well, look at me, how I met my husband. Come on. I went off hitchhiking when I was 18, just literally, thumb in the air.
Because you were stuck.
Because I was stuck. I was so bored of living in that boring place. I don't even want to name it because somebody might live there now, but it used to be so boring. You'd gone off to uni. It was boring. And off I went, and that's how I met my husband, through a whole adventure. I mean, it's very much like a film, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
Then once we met, I stayed at his house, in his apartment for a couple of days.
I mean, it could have been very dangerous. You're very lucky.
I was very lucky, yeah.
But they were different times.
Yeah, but they were risky times.
It was risky as well.
It was only when I was actually doing the hitchhiking that I realised how dangerous it actually was. I thought, gosh, this is a few scrapes here and there. Just literally, I mean, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see the facial expressions here.
Not recommended.
No, no, it was dangerous.
It was
but
it was done more at the time.
It was quite common, yeah. We're talking about, when were we talking about? 1985, 1986. There was quite a lot of hitchhikers out there. You would do that kind of thing. You were students, no money, just off you go. The sense of freedom was incredible. And that dramatic change that I took upon radically changed the rest of the events of my whole life.
And mine.
And yours, because in the end you came to Italy, and the rest of our mum and dad's, the rest of our family's life. So,
and my husband's.
Yeah, you don't have to do something quite as dramatic as that. But, that was an example. That's a wild example, but you can... I mean, obviously Jane is 30, so she's more mature.
Well, good.
And good.
You have more experience.
Yeah. But I do think when you learn something new as well, you might meet new people.
I think a bit of naivety is good as well. Though.
Yeah.
Just saying, what the hell, I'm going to go for it. Just try it out. What's the worst thing that can happen? If you see the worst thing that can happen is not that bad, I'd say, okay, it's better than what I've got today. Look at what you've got today, and they say, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen if I go? Say if I move.
If I do that, yeah.
If I go, if I change my job, if I move there, what's the worst thing that can happen? Or I might have to suffer a decrease in pay, or I might not like it. But in the end, if you don't like where you are now, you're stuck, aren't you? You're kind of in limbo. So what's the problem?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to have some kind of a change. I mean, Yes.
I think when you're younger, your hormones change, allow that change to happen more easily
it's instinctive.
It's much
Get
more.
out,
You get those
yeah,
rushes of hormones
yeah.
that say, "Get out! I want to get away. I want to do my own thing. I
Well,
want to rebel."
Yeah.
Then, as you get more and more stuck,
That's what I mean. It's
it's a bit like when you become sedentary. You don't realize you're getting sedentary until one day you'll find that you've been sitting on the couch for about 4 hours without doing anything, and you think, "Oh."
Yeah.
Then someone tells you you're sedentary.
Yeah.
I remember.
That rings a bell for you, doesn't it?
I remember when my daughter told me I was sedentary. I nearly had a fit.
You said, "No, I'm not.
I said, "Are you joking? With this
Live in this country house.
in the country house with all the stuff, the wood I have to get from the garden to light the fire, light the stove, the gardening, and that." And she said, "Yeah, but
You do
you
spend...
do your 10,000 steps a day."
Oh,
It was
yeah.
about 2,000.
Yeah,
I didn't even know, but then when I got
when you got the little thing.
the Fitbit, it told you how many steps you did, and it was shocking to realise that, yes, I was quite sedentary.
You were indeed, yeah.
So sometimes you don't realise that you've become used to the kind of lifestyle that you think isn't that, and it is that, and it's like a wake-up call. Oh.
You are stuck. It's not nice to feel that way.
No, but there are things you can do about it.
Yeah,
you take
that's
action.
You really, yes, but it has to be something proactive. It has to come from the pain of saying, I don't like it.
Step.
So the next step is being proactive and just looking around. Maybe you can, you know what, once you realise that you're in that kind of change set of mind, when you might even be at work and a colleague might say, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going blah, blah, I don't know, we're just trying to invent something now. I'm going to do that particular thing, and that sport or something. And you can say, oh, I've never tried that. Jane could say, oh, that sounds interesting. And they might say, hey, do you want to come along? Yeah, you might hate it, but she might hate it, but she might, find something.
She might meet someone that says, hey, this might not be your cup of tea, but come and do this next week.
That's what I mean. It's opening all these new windows, just like in a computer. You have to open so many different ones. You can't, if you're just closing all the tabs all the time, you won't see anything, will you?
It'll be a blank screen.
Yes, it'll be a blank screen. You need to do these kind of things often.
I think there's hope for Jane.
There's hope.
Jane Brunelli.
Yes, definitely hope. And there's hope for Jane. There's hope for all of you out there. I mean, there probably is a Jane Brunelli that exists out there.
Right and say, hey, I'm doing fine.
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a land where you don't want to be no man's land. Jane wants to be in Jane's land, where Jane's land is what she makes of it. It's like when they say you can be the architect of your life. Jane can create her own life in the real world, made up of the people that she chooses and the environment she wants to be in, at least during her spare time.
Yeah,
if she
I
can't,
think also I would add that Jane mustn't be too aggressive about it. She mustn't be too perfectionist about wanting exactly what she thinks she wants, because she's stuck. Yes. Sometimes trying to pursue what you think you want exactly, like maybe if she thinks she wants to have like 2 kids and she wants a perfect partner. By the time she's 38 or something, and that might not be her path. Yeah. Because maybe when she's 34, she'll discover that she's got a brilliant mind and she can create something spectacular that's going to help millions of people. Or maybe she'll find that she's got a natural talent for, I don't know, doing something
for business,
else.
For anything. There's like
something else.
many
and then
entrepreneurs.
She might look back and think, oh my God, thank God I haven't got a family and I haven't got children, because I wouldn't have been able to have the time to do all this that I'm doing now, and it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, things come. Things come. They do. They come from change, from opening new windows, from allowing.
And from not having too specific about what you want, like you might want the partner with the perfect body, and you might find,
yes.
you
We've
might
heard
want
that
this.
before.
Yeah, we've heard that before. You might want
Yeah.
this. I don't know, the partner that's got the perfect job,
Or the
partner
perfect home, and you're
or
never
the
content.
partner with the perfect political ideas that match yours. This is all
Yeah.
becoming more and more important nowadays as people look for people that are the same. But sometimes in relationships, it's the difference in the other person that makes it, that enriches your world, because you learn so much from them.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've always said that, haven't they? You know, opposites attract.
They've said that before, but now if you look at the recent
It's
polls,
more
people are looking
similarity.
for similarities of people who've got the same political opinions, the same kind of foods, the same this, same this.
Yeah. Well, it helps, doesn't it?
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, come on.
You don't want too many differences.
You don't want. I mean, at least like I'm thinking the same. There's foods. Who cares?
But,
you go to a
didn't
restaurant.
even have the same language if
Well,
you think about it.
no.
You couldn't even understand each other. Maybe that was a blessing.
But probably was a blessing, because I probably would have said, "Hey ho, no way, man." I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, there's just so. There was no idea of perfectionism or anything like that in my mind. But then again, I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
So you're so young. You're so, you're naive, aren't you? Like what you were saying.
Yeah.
You don't really know. Somebody holds your hand and you're just like, oh.
Stars.
That's it. Yeah, starstruck. So it was different. I mean, I can't compare myself to Jane,
No,
who is 30.
she knows a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But sometimes when
Or
know
when
more-
you first met John.
I was 19.
Well, that's what I mean. You can't now. If you were 30, it would have been a different.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? You might have said, "Oh no, too strong opinion, too opinionated."
Well, I was opinionated at first, you remember? And then you said, no, you're mad about him. All you do is talk about him.
Oh yeah, you were. At first you said he's not the right person
Well, I said he's
for
not
me.
the right person. He lives with me. I'm not having that. I'm
that.
not having any problems in the house.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was a student dig, so we
yeah.
were all together.
Oh yeah.
So we had all that to deal with. But in the end, I just said, what? Well, you said you're in love with him, and I believed you. She probably hypnotised you then. And it's worked out anyway.
It's worked out. The fact is, yeah. I mean, all you could do, all you were saying is, "Oh, John this, John that, John that."
Exactly.
Come on.
It was obvious.
It was
to everyone
obvious.
except for me.
Yes, it's a
Well,
bit.
that's what. Maybe look out for your obvious clues then. What
Yeah.
you're always harping on about. So if
Yeah.
you're always harping on about, I'd like to do something more creative, or I'd like to be in this industry, or I'd like to be doing that. Maybe follow your path, and maybe get a side hustle in it at first to reinvent yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to go in gently. So obviously you still have to pay the rent and pay the bills and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think that's good advice. Well, anyway, let us
Yeah.
know what you think Jane Brunelli should be doing, and
Yeah,
what
because
you're
there
doing
could be
as well.
good advice for
Yeah.
everyone out there that
Yeah.
that feels as if they're in no man's land, that feels a bit stuck at the moment.
And I think a lot of us have been after the pandemic, feeling
Definitely,
stuck.
definitely.
Yeah.
God, that if anything's going to make you feel stuck,
Yeah.
it's that.
Exactly.
I actually
And
think
new
the
doors have to open.
metaverse and the metaverse has increasingly become popular because of that.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah,
It's a
definitely.
form of escapism,
Yeah.
isn't it? Well, let us know, and also come and watch us on YouTube, because this will also be recorded. There's a video of it on YouTube.
Yeah, there is a video.
And please come and comment on our Instagram, Get Real with the English Sisters, at Get Real with the English Sisters, and we love to hear from you.
Sending you, lots of love,
Lots of
and
love and
hugs.
smiles.
And if you are stuck, remember this. You can change if you change something that you're doing every day. So just change one thing that you're doing every day.
Yeah, or add one thing. that's
Or
different.
add. Yeah, that's clever. Yeah, there you go. Add. Yeah, you've added on.
Sometimes it's easier to add than to change.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's exactly it.
Bye, from
Bye,
the English Sisters. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.